I think everybody in the world at one time or another has been told never get between a sow and her cubs. This week, that is exactly what we're doing.
Hi, I'm Randy Cross. I've worked with the Maine Fish and Wildlife Department, specifically on the Bear Crew, actually, for 30 years now. And so I've had the unique opportunity to get up close to a lot of different bears over a long time, and actually been able to see bears become grandmothers from when I've been able to hold them in my hand, and that's pretty neat.
If you're in the bear industry, if you have anything to do with the bear industry at all, you know who Randy Cross is. Randy Cross is at the very least North America's leading expert on bears, bear dens, you know, as far as figuring out population, as far as figuring out what bears are doing and how to calculate population. Many, many other bear programs are modeled after what Randy Cross has invented, has figured out in his 30 years of going to bear dens and calculating bear populations and all the stuff that he does. About 200 yards from the den. Randy said we're going to go a little bit further because I'm so out of shape. You can tell this by just looking at me, I guess, but we're getting closer. 4, 5 bears, one day.
After Blaine and the Maine Bear team arrive at their destination, miles into the deep forest of Maine, it is vital that they remain as silent as possible as they approach the bear den. The snowfall in northern Maine at this time of the year can be as deep as 4 feet, so the team must wear snowshoes to walk in the woods. The Bear Crew uses VHS radio collars on the female bears so they are able to locate them in the dens. It would be near impossible to find any bear during hibernation without this equipment. The anticipation and tension builds as Blaine and the team make their final approach to the entrance of the den.
Okay, we have the yearlings and a sow. We think there's 5 on a blowdown over here. Randy's got everything loaded, and it's about to get fast and furious quick with these bears. This is why I do what I do. I absolutely love this.
The Maine Bear Crew strategically surrounds the den as they approach. There's always a chance the bears may flee the den. If they do, the team has to be prepared to fire tranquilizer darts into the bears to prevent the cubs from being displaced. As Randy approaches the den, he discovers a vent hole at the top, which allows body heat and warm breath from the bears inside to escape. Randy faces the challenge of finding the entrance to the den, which is now covered by the winter snowfall. After clearing a hole just big enough to get the jab stick in to tranquilize the sow, Randy waits for the right angle to perfectly place his shot on the sow. If the shot is not placed perfectly, the sow could be injured. After injecting the sow, Randy covers the entrance of the den to help keep the sow calm while the team waits quietly for 10 minutes for the drug to take effect. Meanwhile, Lisa gets prepared to enter the den. Once the sow is fully sedated, she will go in to locate and tranquilize the yearling cubs by hand.
My name's Lisa Bates. I am commonly referred to as Kid. Kid came from the fact that I look like I'm 15, but I'm really not. I'm quite older than that. And I started for the Bear Crew when I was 20, and at that time I probably looked 12. And so Randy just started calling me Kid.
So what are you about to do?
I'm about to go into the den and hand syringe the yearlings after Mom goes down.
For the record, how old are you?
I'll be 25 next month.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
What is the purpose of the bonnet in question?
Oh, it keeps me looking really young and keeps me acting my age.
Laura English?
What's that?
Laura English?
Who's that?
Little House on the Prairie.
I don't know. It's keep the hair intact. I get all snagged up in there. There's all kinds of roots and snags and things to tangle me up. So it keeps the dirt out of my ears and eyes and nose and mouth. Mostly just out of my ears.
Very nice.
Now what needs to take place is Lisa, the kid Bates, she's got to go into this den and she's got to tranquilize these yearlings. Now, when I say yearlings, I don't want you to misunderstand that these cute little cubs that you typically see in all these photos on Facebook and online where these two little cubs are sticking out. These are yearlings. These are 40, 50, 60-pound yearlings. She's got to go head first, ankle deep, into this bear den with tranquilizer needles and tranquilize these yearlings, because these things can absolutely tear you up. These things will absolutely tear you up. This is like a man check. This is like a reality check. Would you be willing to go down head first into the pure black with a flashlight? And these yearlings can be swiping, they could be hiding, they could be doing a million different things. You don't know until you get down there. And Lisa is going down in there and she's getting it done. This is what she does.
After Lisa extracts the 3 yearling cubs, Matt Moondog O'Neill goes in to pull out the sow. Once the sow is sedated, The Bear Crew must work quickly to collect all of the data they need. The sow will only remain sedated for about 30 minutes, so time is of the essence.
Now, this was my intention. If you are watching the show, what kind of ridiculous statement is that? Now, this was my intention on this show. You'll notice in the first segment, we introduced Randy Cross, and we had Randy Cross talking, explaining who he was. Second segment, we had Lisa Bates doing the exact same thing. Third segment, we got Moondog involved. He's the one pulling the sow out with the pretty blue bonnet on. Moondog, Mr. Personality, I'll call him. And so I'm trying to get Moondog to do his little thing like, hey, I'm Moondog. So Moondog, how long you been doing this?
We're out here collecting biological data, scientific data that help us estimate probably the one biggest thing, help estimate the recruitment of bears into the population. And that's an important number for us to know as we're trying to balance them against the number that's removed by hunters as they harvest bears. We know exactly how many bears are harvested by hunters, but this is how we estimate how many bears are taking their place.
The first step after getting all of these bears out of the den and set up on the ground, they put a nice mat down so they're not laying in the snow, is to put ear tags in all the yearlings. These tags will identify each bear. Next, Randy and the crew will put radio collars on all the females. These female bears will be in their own dens next year, and they'll be having their own cubs soon. So at this point, we also collar the sow yearlings.
Some of them actually do lose their ear tags, so as a backup system, we also tattoo the inner lip, and that's a permanent mark. So anytime if a hunter was to shoot a bear or a bear got hit in the road and killed, they have a mark, we know who it was and where it came from and all of that.
The team weighs and gets every single measurement they can from these bears so they can determine the health and size of all of these bears, which will just give them a ton of overall information. Before we put the bears back, we have to give them all reversal drugs so that they wake up quicker. Then Lisa begins the task of putting all of the bears back into the den. Breaks up pine boughs and cuts off branches and covers up the den again. So when these bears wake up, it's almost like they don't know what happened. The den kind of feels, looks, and nothing kind of seems out of place to them when they wake up. And of course, I got to put my personal touch in the whole thing and put a do not disturb sign on the outside of the den so that, you know, if any other predators or anything like that rolls up, they know not to go in there, mess with my bears. I gotta tell you, I was almost sad to have to finish this up. What we basically did was take a few photo opportunities, and they do it whether I'm there or not. They take a picture of almost every den that they're in. So we took a bunch of pictures and put the sow. We had to put all the yearlings back into the dens, and we were essentially out of there. It was almost depressing walking out. It's almost like the day after a hunt, and you realize you've used your one tag, and it's over. That kind of like, oh, it's over. Like, yeah. Now we're gonna fast forward to March when Randy calls me again and gives me a second chance to come out and film a den, but this time we're in search of a sow with newborn cubs. This thing rocks. I'm just saying, I look good in this, don't I? I'm a biologist. I look like one. Now, Randy's been to this den before. He knows there's an escape route. The second we start walking up to it, we actually had a hard time finding it. And the second he sees it, he knows this den. He knows how the bears get in. He also knows there's an escape route in this den. There's a bottom hole that cubs can climb through. So what he does is he basically goes up at the top. So Jason, him, and Moondog, they go to the top where he knows is the only place you can tranquilize the sow. He sends me and Lisa to the escape route, to the back door of the den.
So when we approached the den, Randy got on the top side. There were two kind of entrances or exits, however you want to look at it, and we have to cover all sides in case she decides to run out. So Randy went to the top, and Moondog was at the top covering that side too, and you and I were down on the lower side. And I think it was right after Randy jabbed the sow, this cub starts waddling out on the underside where you and I were covering, and it it took it by surprise. It came out and it was like, ah! And just had no idea that we were there. It scared the crap out of him, but yeah, it was pretty cool. That was really cute.
At this point, the sow has not been tranquilized yet, so Lisa lets a cub return into the den for the safety of the cub and the team. They do not want to upset the mother until she has been fully sedated.
Because on Den 1, we kind of showed you all the educational stuff, all the stuff that the biologists do when they go into a den as far as tagging ears and tattooing and changing out radio collars, putting on new radio collars. On Den 2, we're not going to go through it all again. It would be ridiculous. So I'm just going to kind of show you a cool music video type stuff of all the stuff that happened. The bottom line, again, we were dumbfounded with these little psycho cubs. We were dumbfounded. We got to hold them, and I mean, there's not much I can say. When I show you, you'll see why. This den, compared to the first den, much, much harder just getting the sow out of this den so that the biologists can do the work they need to do with the sow.
Say hey.
Unlike the yearlings where they actually like pull the yearling, almost weigh them like a fish, they got a scale and they pull them off the ground and see how high they are. They actually got to stick the cubs inside of a bag because, especially these cubs, because they're absolutely mental, but they got to put them inside of a bag and weigh the cubs inside of a bag. So that's the difference between a cub and a yearling and how they weigh them.
Well, these two are a lot
With these psycho cubs, I got to ask you at home, would you stick your hand inside of this bag?
Blaine still has one more day with the Maine Bear Crew. Just as he starts to get comfortable around the dens, he learns that every den is different and not every sow is submissive.
So Moondog, how long you been doing this?
You did it. It wasn't even like, it wasn't like he looked up.
Nailed it. You nailed it,
like he looked up quick or anything. It was perfect timing.